99% of people, especially narcissistic abuse victims, fail at good hygiene and self-care because they ignore this one thing: the deeper emotional wounds behind the mess. If you've ever wondered why it's so hard to keep things clean after what you've been through, you're not alone. There's more going on under the surface than most people realize, and understanding it is the first step toward healing. Not just your space, but yourself. Let's break down the 9 reasons why those abused by narcissistic people develop untidy behavior. Are you ready for number 1? Association of cleanliness with performative living. Many narcissists care obsessively about image, not authenticity. If you've lived with a narcissist, you probably know how much they demand for everything to look perfect, even if it was all a lie underneath. Over time, you may have started to associate cleanliness with that fake image and that exhausting act of pretending everything was fine just to keep them happy. So now, without even realizing it, keeping things messy might feel like a way to reclaim your space. A small but powerful rebellion against having to perform, please, or be perfect for someone else. Mess becomes a quiet reminder that you no longer have to live under their rules. In your own space, you get to be real, even if that means a little chaos while you heal. Let's talk about number 2, fear of re-entering a caretaker role. Do you ever feel like cleaning means slipping back into your old role? When you lived with that narcissist, you were probably the one always picking up the pieces, not just around the house, but emotionally too. You had to manage their moods, keep things spotless, and make everything look okay, even when it wasn't. So now, just the thought of cleaning might stir up that old fear that if you start again, you'll somehow end up back in that exhausting caretaker role. It's not that you don't want a tidy space. Deep down, you're only protecting yourself from slipping back into a job you never signed up for in the first place. Your body remembers the weight of that constant responsibility, even if your mind tries to move on. Letting go of that role means reminding yourself that you get to set the rules now, not them. Let's move on to number 3, executive dysfunction. Chronic stress and trauma can impair the prefrontal cortex, which governs planning, decision-making, and task management. This results in executive dysfunction, making it hard to start or complete tasks like cleaning or organizing. If you've been through narcissistic abuse, your brain has been under constant stress for so long that it can actually struggle to do daily chores or even deciding where to start. This isn't about being lazy or messy on purpose. You're experiencing executive dysfunction. So, if you find yourself overwhelmed by simple tasks, it's not your fault. Your brain is still in survival mode, doing its best to protect you after everything you've been through. Now, let's continue to number 4, delayed development of domestic skills. How were you supposed to know what to do if no one ever taught you? If you grew up with a narcissistic parent or lived with a narcissistic partner, chances are you weren't taught basic cleaning or organizing skills in a healthy way. Maybe you were criticized every time you tried, or made to feel like nothing you did was ever good enough. So, eventually, you just stopped trying. that mess you see now is not because you're lazy. It's more likely that no one gave you the tools or support to learn. And now you're figuring it out on your own, at your own pace. And that's okay. Learning as an adult is still learning. You're not behind. You're just starting from a place most people don't understand. Every small step you take now is a win, and proof that you're growing beyond what you were given. You shouldn't miss number 5, financial abuse and resource deprivation. How can you keep things spotless when you can barely afford the basics? If you were financially controlled by a narcissist, you probably had little to no access to money, even for simple things like cleaning supplies or storage bins. Maybe you had to make do with whatever was lying around, or felt guilty asking for anything. And even now, if you've left, you might still be struggling to rebuild, trying to pay bills, find stability, and just survive. In that kind of situation, keeping your space perfectly clean just isn't the top priority. And that's okay. You're not messy. You're managing the best you can with what you've got. Are you still up for number 6? Punishment conditioning. Narcissistic abusers frequently punished victims for minor mistakes or messes. If you lived with a narcissist, maybe you were yelled at, insulted, or made to feel worthless over something as simple as a dirty dish or an unfolded blanket. Over time, your brain started to link cleaning with fear. Like no matter how hard you tried, it was never enough. Now, when you think about tidying up, it might bring up anxiety or dread, like you're bracing for punishment. That tight feeling in your chest or sudden wave of guilt when you try to clean is a trauma response. Your nervous system remembers what it was like to be judged or punished for not doing things perfectly. And now, the pressure to do it right might still be sitting on your shoulders, even though the abuser is gone. Healing means slowly unlearning that fear and giving yourself permission to clean on your own terms without fear of attack. Let's keep it moving to number 7, isolation and withdrawal. Narcissistic abuse can leave you feeling completely alone, cut off from friends, family, and any kind of support. Maybe you got used to hiding, keeping people out, or just not having anyone to invite in. Over time, that isolation can make it easy to stop caring about your space. If no one's going to see it, why bother? After a while, the mess stops feeling temporary and just becomes part of the background. You might stop noticing it, not because you don't care, but because your mind is focused on just getting through each day. And when you do notice it, the guilt or shame can make it even harder to start. Reaching out, even just a little, can help remind you that you deserve support, connection, and a space that feels good to live in. Here comes number 8, disassociation from physical surroundings. Do you ever feel like you're just floating through your days, barely noticing what's around you? When you've been through narcissistic abuse, your mind learns to protect you by checking out or dissociating. You go numb just to survive, and in that foggy, disconnected state, you stop noticing things like dishes piling up or clothes scattered on the floor. You're not ignoring it on purpose. You're just not fully there sometimes. And then suddenly, it all hits you at once, and the mess feels massive and impossible to deal with. It's not about being lazy. It's about your brain doing whatever it can to shield you from pain, even if that means tuning out your surroundings. Finally, we're down to number 9, loss of identity. Narcissistic abuse has a way of chipping away at your identity, piece by piece, until you barely recognize yourself. When someone constantly controls, criticizes, or manipulates you, it's easy to lose touch with what you like, what matters to you, and even how you express yourself. Things like keeping your space clean, getting dressed, or taking care of your home might have once felt natural, maybe even enjoyable. But now, it just feels pointless or overwhelming, like you're living someone else's life. It's not that you've let yourself go, it's that you're still trying to find your way back to you. So, if you've been struggling with mess, clutter, or letting things go, please know it's not because you're weak, but because you've been through more than most people understand. Your untidy behavior isn't a flaw, it's a response to pain, survival, and years of emotional exhaustion. You're not lazy, you're healing, and that healing gets to happen one small, kind step at a time.